Earl Flynn's at the time was a huge gang. We talking thousands of members, and the BKs, and they were East Side gangs, and they never performed on the stage. But they actually, when they would get high and be standing in the crowd, hey man, and then they would do moves that were actually similar to the moves that we did. Oh, definitely. But they never performed. Not for a stage performance. It's just in the hood, in the front, in the streets, like that. So our gang was like about 11 total. And then 5 of them guys became the Jitterbugs.
Oh, wow. 5?
Yeah, our 11.
Original members.
So it's 11 people stealing and beating people up. And then
So, Tony Karasagi, Stanley Bowman, Johnny McGee, Tracy McGee, and James McGee.
My question, too, is like, how did you come about the movement?
I can't explain that. It's just what came out. See, at the time, everybody was locking and, doing the break dance and all that kind of stuff.
that was a little later.
Whatever, however it was going, we refused to do what other people was doing.
That's more than anything. And what we saw, and definitely once we started performing on stages, was a lot of guys dancing like girls. I mean, like they would be double jointed.
Yeah.
One of the groups was called TNT. And they were pretty big in Detroit.
They were big.
They had a whole, I don't know,
Massive
11
following.
members.
They had a massive following.
About
too.
6 of them was girls.
Yeah.
And any of the guys that were in their group, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, man, but and ain't nothing wrong with gay people, But we back then thought that the dudes was gay. Back then, which was 35 years ago.
Very feminine.
And they would be shaking in a way that, oh no, we are not shaking like that.
Shaking our hips and gyrating like that.
But I can tell you that maybe the move started from wanting to be cool. We want a move that's going to make you look cool.
And masculine.
And now, before the Jitterbugs and before all our friends as gang, we danced in. Inspired by the Jackson 5.
There you go.
Inspired by the Jackson 5, we danced in.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was just the 3 brothers then. So we was a group for a long time. Then later, now we're talking like, I was the youngest, so I'm like 6 or 7. And then my other 2 brothers is a couple years older than me. So now we're performing back then for our schools that we went to. Later, as we became teenagers, we met Stanley and Tom. Actually, my older brother, he met them first.
James McGee.
He, together with him and Stan, actually started. I think one of them came up with the name Jitterbugs.
Oh, old man came up.
Well, the people in our neighborhood, that's what they called us, because we were stealing cars, beating people up. Them Jitterbugs,
Right.
Criminals. That's what Jitterbug means, criminal. Like you see the young kids jitting today, they won't associate that name with crime.
Right.
They strictly associated with dance. But it wasn't always that way.
It sure wasn't.
And
So that's
the
why
drop,
we started using our legs.
Exactly. The drop, it's just what we started doing. And the member that he mentioned, Stanley, he was like the biggest guy in the group.
About 6'1".
And
maybe
about 6 feet, maybe 6'1". But if you saw him do a drop, you say, "Dang, that was cool," because he was so big, right? You say, "Dang, that was cool," right? And then my brother James had a nice way that he used to do his drop, right? So we lived together with each other, and so that would have been the premise of how these steps get started. And after a drop, nothing is there but a strike, and that's something you do with your knee, kind of like bringing your knee towards your chest, like. It's a movement that you do. And the drop and the strike was like brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So a network began of steps. Mm-hmm. So from the strike to the drop to the walk.
Those are
three basic steps that locked our network of all the other moves. He can identify with a drop. He can identify with a walk. But there were so many other moves that we did, like the duck walk. He probably wouldn't know about the duck walk. Right. All 5 members did the duck walk.
How did the duck walk?
Well, the duck walk went like this. After you do a drop, after you did your drop, you spent out of it and you was down this low and you went. That's the duck walk. Right? And sometimes it would stop and the hand would go up like this. Oh, man. All 5 members was doing this, right? Uh-huh. And so those other 3 moves inspired the duck walk, inspired the hands, inspired all the other moves. It's so funny that once it became 3 members, we never wanted to do the same step over and over. And at the time we was performing, nobody was jitting.
No one.
Hear me loud and clear.
No one.
Nobody. Everybody was doing locking. And then in the 80s, the breakers came out. Now, everybody is breakdancing.
Right.
And we didn't cross that line. We stayed with our jit. Right? This was 1980. Mm-hmm. Okay? So in 1975, it was pure JB. And when we would perform, our reception would go accordingly because nobody ever seen it before. Everybody seen you locking. Mm-hmm. The lockers from California. Everybody saw that. Mm-hmm. But when we hit the stage, they had never saw it before. So we got that kind of a reception. Like, wow, I want to see that again. Mm-hmm. And we kind of contribute that to the guys who back then who wanted to be like us. They couldn't be friends with us, so the only time they can copy a step is when we're on stage. Yeah. So it would be their vision of what they saw and what they think they're duplicating.
Yeah.
They seek to duplicate the things that we create. Yeah. So it might not have been the right way to do it, if you know what I mean. So over the evolution of time, me and Trey would watch him on wherever we would see him and say, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
You're doing that wrong.
You're doing that wrong.
It was because we never became friends with enough folks to say, hey, this is how you do it.
Actually, it was like too afraid to approach us.
But see, that worked the way it was supposed to work because it shouldn't look like what we're doing necessarily. It's a figment of what we did. And when we see it, it's faster. Right?
Because that's what they saw. Right up in the groove.
Exactly.
Baby. Right up in the groove.
And now they go. I mean, it's different, but it is the same.
It evolved.
Because of the evolution of it.
Yeah.
Okay.